All right. How is everybody? Hopefully all is well. Oh, Chris, you got to hop on tonight. I don't know if you're not working or not. I know Monday nights is not the best night for you, man. So good to see you. Got you and Han in the house. General. Golan, is that? I think that's Dory's other account. I think Golan is Dory's other account. Yeah, season two for Kingdom is out. I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet, but I should be able to catch up on a lot of stuff, you guys, actually, because I'm off for the next 2 weeks. Kind of off for the next 2 weeks. I have some stuff I have to do remotely, but kind of off for the next 2 weeks, and it might end up being longer than that. Oh, cool, cool, man. Well, I'm glad you could be on. Good to have you guys. Hopefully, everybody is being safe. Yeah, man. COVID-19 is. I mean, it's crazy. Like it's doing a number on a lot of us, and it's funny because it's one of those things that doesn't just affect like us in the states. It affects everybody. It affects everybody worldwide. And I know here it's crazy. Like I think we are very close here to probably a mandated quarantine where for 2 weeks essentially you are going to have to stay in your house. They shut down restaurants and bars here at 5 o'clock. Restaurants, bars, gyms, movie theaters. Basically, the only thing that's open now after 5 are things that are, I guess, necessities like gas stations or grocery stores and things like that. But I think it's a matter of time, man, before we even get more severe measures. This is crazy. Like, never experienced anything like this. So, yeah, it's crazy. All right, guys, we'll wait a few seconds, have some folks join us, and then we'll jump into what we want to talk about today, what we want to focus on. Then, of course, we'll open it up for community discussion. But yeah, man, so um, hopefully all of you guys are doing all you can to keep yourselves safe. And, I don't know, it's crazy. Never experienced anything like this. Probably none of us have experienced anything like this. So, yeah, I'm sure they did, General. Yep. And that's true too, man. A lot of movies have been pushed back, put on hold, put on the shelf. And it's funny because we're going to talk a lot about the Eternals tonight, and I don't think it'll impact the Eternals because we're set to get that later this year. But it'll be interesting to see just how far this thing reaches. Like nobody knows how far it will reach. So I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm gonna be in for a while, and even my wife, man, is like trying to tell her like she can't go to the gym. Well, she can't go to the gym now because they close at 5. She wouldn't be able to get there. So wow. So it's crazy, man, because the virus is affecting everything. So The Witcher's being impacted by it. A lot of stuff, man. I imagine anywhere that you're filming and you have a gathering of people, like you would be affected by this thing. So it just is so far reaching in terms of what what's going on with it. It's funny, Chris, because today I was out and thinking about the social distancing, and then there was a lady who was in line behind me, and she is literally like sitting on my shoulder, and I'm just like, man, I mean, did you not hear the notary? Did you not hear what they said? At least give me 4 feet. You are right on my shoulder. So yeah, it's crazy. You know what? I wish we could see a picture of that, General. I know that you're still working on Moon Sword. Man, I wish we could see a picture of that. As it's funny, yes. So anyway, you guys, make sure you're keeping yourselves safe. I actually got to go check on my parents a little later tonight. Make sure that they're doing okay, because they won't tell you if they're not doing okay. They're not going to say anything. So, all right, you guys. So I wanted to talk Eternals today and do a little bit of a deep dive about that movie. Um, because the more I'm hearing about it and the more I'm reading about it, the more I think that it's going to be crazy important for what happens to the MCU moving forward. And also the fact that a lot of the characters that we have seen in the MCU so far are either, not a lot of them, but some of them are either Eternals or some of them are Deviants. So I want to talk a little bit about the Eternals. I know that some of you guys might not know a whole bunch about the Eternals. It wasn't like it was a big, huge title for Marvel, but it is an important title. Having said that, make sure you go check out, if you want to learn more about it, check out Neil Gaiman's Eternals. That's what it's based on, and you can get that through Comixology. I have a subscription to them, or you can buy it and then read that, and then you'll be up on the story of the Eternals. But the first thing that I thought that we would do is to take a look at the cast of the Eternals. So let's check them out. And again, another reason why I'm excited about this, because of the cast that we have. I'm a big fan of Angelina Jolie, man. I know a lot of people don't like her for certain things, but I like Angelina, and I think she's going to be great as Athena. And then in a minute, we'll look at each one of their powers and abilities in case you guys don't know a lot about them. But I like Angelina Jolie, so I think this cast is stacked, man. Like, and I know that casts don't always make the movie. So they don't always make the movie. You can have a good cast and not have a good movie. But when you look at the talent, I think that's important. I think at least when you look at who's in a film, at least you know the groundwork for performances. You have some folks that can give good performances. So I'm excited about Angelina. I like Kamal in this too, and some people were saying they weren't sure how well he would fit in, but I think he's going to do good in this. I think that he's going to, I'm not sure how they will execute his character, because we're normally used to seeing him in more comedic roles. A lot of these guys, we were actually, a couple of these guys anyway, we're used to seeing in more comedic roles, but I like him in this as well. I like everybody here. I like Brian. I like Don Lee. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I've seen him in. I haven't seen him in much. And the girl, I haven't seen her much either. The young girl, Layla McCall, I guess is how you say that. Everybody knows who Selma Hayek is. Lauren Ridloff, most of us know who that is. And of course, everybody knows who Richard Madden is from Game of Thrones. But that's the first thing that strikes me here is the cast. So I think that I'm excited about it just based off of that. Okay, so and Jin Han said that Don Lee is not big in America, but he's big in Korea. So that's another thing. Before we get to we look at each one of their profiles. Another thing that I noticed about this, and I'm just waiting, right? I'm waiting for someone to give us some guff about this, because if you look at this, a lot of the characters have been substituted. So where in the comic books they were male characters, a lot of them have been switched to be female characters. And I know there's going to be some diehard fanboy that's going to say, well, why are you messing it up? Why are you switching things up? I think this makes no difference at all. It doesn't make any difference at all. Now, mind you, I'm not a big Eternals authoritarian, so maybe there's something that I don't know that is important as to why the sex of the person matters. But I think if you give a good performance here, I don't think any of it matters. I think it was smart for Feige to do this, because again, he's bringing in more diversity into the MCU. And I know that most of us here in the Dark Side community have talked about not having a problem with this as long as we don't feel like we're being force-fed an agenda. So I don't have any issues with the gender switches in terms of characters, as long as they execute the character well and as long as the story is well written. But I can see people having some problems with that. But I'm actually excited to see this. I'm excited to see how much he's mixed it up. This is probably the most diverse cast we've seen so far in the MCU. And I know, like Feige said, I mean, he's on a mission to be more diverse. On that note, because there were some issues here, we talked about this a while ago when we were talking about the whole gender issue, and Feige said he didn't actually mean for that to get out. There was a comment about that. He didn't mean for, I guess there was a, what was it? I'm looking at it now, like there was a transgender relationship in it, or some kind of relationship like that, and he didn't mean for that to get out. So we'll see if that stays in the film or not. But anyway, I think that's I'm really interested to see how they deal with that, and then how the public reacts to that. So I'm sure there'll be some complaining about it. But let's do this. Let's take a look at at some of their power profiles, because I realize that a lot of us might not be familiar with them. They are a lesser known group, so you might know them, you might not. But we're going to go through some of their powers, and then we're going to talk about some theories. And I'm telling you why this is so important for the MCU, and why it's such a smart movie for Feige to implement to the MCU, even though a lot of us don't know really much about the Eternals. So let's start with Athena. Angelina Jolie. I don't care what anybody says, man. Angelina Jolie is fine, man. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, she might have done some weird stuff in the past, but you can't take away from the fact that she's fine. I'm sorry. I got to give her that. So, these are her powers. Athena's powers: superhuman strength, durability, speed, stamina, agility, reflexes, healing factor, immortality. Hopefully I didn't spell anything wrong here. Cosmic light manipulation, cosmic energy heat manipulation, concussive blast, molecular manipulation, telekinesis, telepathy, and teleportation. Hey, what's going on, Bounty? Yeah, yep, you're right about that. The boys gender swap a lot too. So, I mean, it's all good, man. As long as the performances are good, I say then I don't have any issues with that. So these are her powers, Athena's powers within the Eternals. Now, what's interesting here is you're going to find that like a lot of these guys have powers that are similar, but they're not all similar to the same degree within all of the categories. So this is her power profile. If you're wondering what Angelina's powers are going to be like in the movie, hopefully they will reflect what we see here. Next one, Kamal's character, Kingo. Superhuman strength, exact amount unknown, cosmic energy manipulation, energy blast from eyes and hands, flight, teleportation, psionics, enhanced metabolism, disease immunity, slow or retarded aging. But the interesting thing about his character in the comics is that he does not like to use those abilities. He really likes to use the traditional abilities of the samurai. So it'll be interesting to see how they work his character in the movie, because he really does, in the comic, he really does fall more into the traditional samurai culture. But those are his power profiles. It'll also be interesting to see how they build that character too, and see if they give him a comedic edge, as Kamal tends to have a comedic edge in some of the stuff that he does. All right. Fastos, I think that's how you pronounce that. Power profile: superhuman strength, cosmic energy manipulation, flight, invulnerability, psionics, teleportation, enhanced metabolism, immortality, disease immunity, slowed or retarded aging, genius level, technologist, inventor, and engineer. So that's what we're looking at with him. And again, this is a swap too. When you look at it in the comic books, I mean, it's a swap in terms of race. You have a black character playing that. I'm sure Feige did that on purpose to just really mix it up. This guy is interesting too, because it'll be interesting to see how they use him, because I know he does a lot. He does a lot with technology and inventing and engineering in the comic books. But so it'll be interesting to see how they bring more of his power into the movie, how they depict him. All right. Let's move on to Gilgamesh. So Gilgamesh, superhuman strength, one of the strongest physically of the Eternals, speed, stamina, durability, agility, reflexes, energy manipulation, levitation, healing factor, and immortality. So I don't know much about this actor. Jinhan was saying that he's really famous in Korea, so it'll be cool to see how he brings him across. Again, this is another thing I'm happy about, the fact that that Feige is really spreading the love, and that we're really getting a diverse cast, and not only a diverse cast from the United States, but a diverse cast from globally as well. I'm telling you, it's a really smart thing for him to do that. All right, let's move on to our next one. All right, Icarus. Powers: immortality, superhuman strength, superhuman durability, superhuman stamina, regeneration, flight, psionics, cosmic energy manipulation, teleportation, enhanced senses, or enhanced sense, or it should say senses. And he is considered a prime eternal. Hey, what's going on, Jerry? So this guy is really the strongest of them all. He is considered a prime. Has all of the powers that most of the others has, but he also has he's more elevated, I guess is the best way to put that. That's not very elegant, I'll admit that. But and he's probably going to be our key figure in the movie. He's probably going to be one of the stars and one of the main focuses of the movie. Yeah, going. So there are a lot of heroes, and because there are a lot of Eternals, and this isn't even the full cast, but there's a lot of them, and it's not as confusing once you get to know them. Um, it's not as confusing. So once you start to read up on them, and you get to kind of know their power profiles, you'll get it because essentially their abilities are almost similar across the board. It's just that some of them are stronger in certain areas than others. We haven't finished the list. We've got a few more to go through. I think maybe one or two more to go through. But I wanted to give you guys a sense of what their powers were like in case you had no idea who they were, because a lot of people don't really know much about the Eternals. But we do know that it's a big movie coming. So what I'm hoping is that you guys will jump on, pick up Gaiman's comic book, read about it, because I'm telling you, we're going to get into this in a second. I think that it's going to be a setup for a lot of different things. And there are already some connections made from the Eternals. We've already seen it. If you go back and look at some of the Marvel movies, they mention some of these Celestials, and you have some of the Eternals or their counterparts, which are the Deviants, we've already seen in Marvel. It's confusing because some people are calling Thanos an Eternal, but Thanos is really more so a Deviant, which is the counterpart of the Eternals. So it seems confusing, but it's not as confusing as it might seem to be. So, all right. Oh, Downtime with Demille is on. Hey, Demille, how you doing, guys? Please make sure you go and check out Demille's channel, Downtime with Demille. Very similar channel to my own. Very glad to see him in the house. Welcome, my friend. All right, so let's go back and let's finish up the power profile. So where we left off with Icarus, our next one, this is a switch as well. Makari, powers, super strength, speed, stamina, flight, psionics, cosmic energy manipulation, teleportation, excels at creating modes of transportation. And this picture is pretty self-explanatory. His main focus is speed. He uses a lot of his cosmic energy to really enhance his ability in that area. Again, another switch. This is a male in the comics, but played by a female as well. Another part on Feige's part to bring diversity, as she is a deaf actress. I'm sure you guys know that. But he, again, diversifying the MCU. So I'm loving it. All right. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Black Knight in a second. Because I don't have him on here, but he's in. But technically, he's not an immortal. But we're going to talk about the Black Knight. An Eternal. All right. At least I don't think he is. I got to double check that fact. Ajax. Selma Hayek, boy, can I just tell you something? Man, I used to love her. You talk about a crush on that lady. Woo! Anyway, so Selma Hayek is playing Ajax. Now, this is a fascinating character because I really want to see how she brings this character to life on screen and how true they stay to this character in the comic book, and or how she brings her own edge to this character in the comic book. These are her powers: levitation, flight, increased stamina, molecular manipulation, and cosmic life force. No, I didn't think he was an Eternal, Jerry, but he is in the movie. And then finally, we got a child actress in the movie. And she's Sprite, and her powers are near immortality, super strength, super stamina, illusions, telekinesis, flight, cosmic energy, projection, and then matter manipulation. So those are the Eternals that are essentially in the movie. We do have, oh man, is it Kit Harington that's playing Black Knight? I think it's Kit Harington that's playing the Black Knight. Let me double check Somebody confirm that in the comments. Is it Kit Harington that's playing the Black Knight? I think it is Kit Harington. Let me double check and see. But I want to say it's him because I remember them talking about someone from Game of Thrones being in the movie. So, believe so. I should have had this pulled up. My fault, you guys. Yep. I believe it's him. Yeah, it's him. So Kit Harington is playing the Black Knight in the movie. So that's who we have as the cast there. So a couple of things about this movie that I think are interesting. One, I said before, this is going to be a setup for all of the other stuff to come in the MCU, but I think it's going to explain a lot of the stuff that we've seen before. I think it's going to explain the origin of a lot of the folks that we've seen that have been off-world. When I say off-world, I mean off-Earth in terms of their origins, because the Celestials kind of set all of that up. Definitely, I think it's going to be an introduction to bring in the X-Men and all of the mutants and folks like that. I know some people said that they thought we might see the origin of stuff like that in Doctor Strange. I think that the cradle of the origin of that stuff will be in the Eternals. I think the Eternals will explain a lot and also set up a lot moving forward. But as I said before, will also open the door for us to see a whole bunch of things. Like, I see this movie as Feige's basically open box to bring in a whole bunch of stuff. Now, I know last week that some folks argued that Doctor Strange is probably going to be the catalyst to bring in a lot more magic-based heroes, and probably so, but I think that the Eternals is going to give us a broader scope on everything. And this movie actually has a lot to do, so it'll be interesting to see how they construct this story, if they take it exactly from how it was written in the comics and give us that, or if they broaden it out to explain more things and set up more things for Marvel to come. But man, like, this thing can set up the expansion of a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of heroes, villains. Could be the foreground can be set with this movie. And when I say a bunch, I'm talking about like Galacticus. I'm talking about, it's Galactus, Silver Surfer, all those different things. Because the thing is, the Eternals are the folks that we have here on Earth, but what the Celestials did on Earth were they had folks like that in other places as well. So on other planets. So it's a setup for all kinds. It just blows the doors open for a lot of stuff to be done in the MCU. It really, really does. So, man, I'm super excited about it, man. Yeah, a lot of people don't know a lot about the Eternals, DeMille, but I think that that's one of the reasons why people will sleep on this movie, because you're used to hearing about the quote-unquote street-level heroes, which the majority of the Marvel heroes we've had are, I would consider street-level. Even some of those that are galactic, I would consider street-level. The ones that, the heroes that we have in Marvel so far right now that I would say are not street-level would be Thor. I would classify the Hulk as probably not being street-level. Definitely Doctor Strange is not street-level. Scarlet Witch is not street-level. Who else do we have? I think everybody else, though, everybody else is a street-level hero. Spider-Man, street-level hero. Love Spidey, one of my favorites. Black Panther, street-level hero. Hawkeye, of course, street-level hero. She's gone now. Black Widow, street-level hero. Who else do we have? I'm trying to think of, who did I forget? And even some of the galactic folks, you might argue that Peter Quill is not street-level because his father was a Celestial. But some of those other folks, Gamora, Rocket, I would consider them all street level heroes in terms of how powerful they are. So that's why I'm saying the Eternals is so important, because it opens the door for a lot of other beings to come into place, not just on Earth, but on other worlds as well. Because the Skrulls, for example, the Skrulls were created by the Celestials. They would be considered deviants. So it's going to explain, I think, a whole bunch of stuff in Marvel that will really, really open the door for them to be able to do a lot more things movie-wise. So I'm just really excited about it for that reason. Sorry, you guys, I'm totally ignoring the chat now because I'm getting into what we want to talk about. But I am going to save some time at the end so we can jump into the chat and then just answer some questions because I can see you guys. There's some other things going on there, and some things I've seen as well, like Bloodshot. I did see that. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. But that's what I think about the Eternals, man. I think people are going to sleep on it, and I think that that's a mistake. Because I think it's going to be more important. I think it's going to be the most important movie that we've seen so far in Marvel. And dare I say, even more important than Doctor Strange 2, which a lot of people are putting a lot of stock in for really opening up the MCU. But I don't think it's going to open it up like this. Now, in terms of the story, I mean, we'll see what we get. I don't know if it's going to really follow the storyline of the comic or not. I would think it won't deviate too far from it. But I do think it's going to take some liberties. So I don't know. We'll see about all of that. But I'm excited about it, and I think, like I said, it's going to set up a lot of things that are really, really important for the MCU, and I think it's going to give us some origins as well. And you know what? I hope it sets up. I don't know if we'll ever see it, and I don't know if you guys have read it before, but I hope it sets up somewhere along the way. I don't know whether it be Phase 5 or 6 or whatever. We get a setup for a Secret Wars movie. Because I'm going to tell you, if we get a Secret Wars, if we get a set of movies that lead up to Secret Wars, man, I might as well just sign my paycheck over to Marvel because I'm watching every single one of those movies. Definitely. All right, you guys. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you about the Eternals. I'm real excited about it, man. I think the potential there is huge, and I think that if you're not excited about it after you see it, I think that you will be excited about it. So I wanted to share that. So let's just jump into the chat, you guys. See what you guys are talking about now. I saw somebody put something out there about Bloodshot, which I did see. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. I know that Jen Han thought it was just and I thought it was just too. Honestly, I fell asleep during it. I fell asleep twice, actually during Bloodshot. So I was not a fan. I was not a fan at all of it. I thought it was kind of boring, actually. I thought the idea was interesting. I actually thought they could have done a lot more with the idea than what they did. Yeah, I just wasn't. It wasn't something that I liked much at all, and I wasn't even. After seeing it, I was gonna do a review for it, and I said, no, I don't even care enough to do a review for it. That was one that I definitely would have saved my money on. So, all right, guys. So I'm gonna jump into the comments here, see what you guys got going on in chat. So Jen Honda saying 3 days left until the animated movie for Altered Carbon comes out. So that'll be interesting. Altered Carbon Season 2, we talked about that last week. Yeah, it wasn't good. Bloodshot wasn't good, Jerry. I thought the effects were good. And again, the idea is cool, but the movie was flat to me. Wasn't a fan at all. Yeah, they should have. I mean, they didn't do a good job marketing the film, but even if they had done a good job marketing the film, and then you would have seen it after the marketing, I still wouldn't have thought that it was great. It was just it was bad. And it actually makes me sad that we have a lot of setbacks for a lot of the bigger movies that I'm actually looking forward to, but now it's looking like we're not going to see those anytime soon in the theater. So I don't know. Yeah, you know what, DeMille, when I saw it, I was in the theater and there was like nobody in there, only 3 people in there, so I wasn't too worried about it. There was a safe distance between myself and other people, and also when I saw it, they actually had on tables outside of the theaters, they had like little boxes of they weren't like Clorox wipes, but something like Clorox wipes. So I took some of those, wiped off my seat and all that kind of stuff. So wasn't a lot of people when I saw it either. Trust me, buddy, you didn't miss anything. Because it was not good. So, my thoughts on The Expanse, Chris. I'm still working through. Like, I haven't gotten to season 4 yet, but what I've seen so far has been really good. So, again, thank you to everybody who said stick with it, because I told you guys before that I can't watch a sci-fi movie without aliens. I mean, sci-fi is one of my favorite genres, but I got to have some aliens up in there. Where were the aliens? But I'm glad that I didn't let it go because of that. And you guys said stick with it. I'm glad I did because actually the story is really good. And now we do there are some suspected aliens. I'm just beginning season 3, so actually I'm going to use this time off from work to catch up. But what I've seen so far is good. The story is good too, man. The story is really good. So I'm at the point now where I'm still, you know what? No, I'm finishing season 2. Sorry, I'm still not sure what's going on with that life form that apparently is sucking up people. I don't know what's going on with that, but the story building, the tension, man, is really, really good in the Expanse. Man, I slept on that. It's really, really good. And now, if don't spoil it for me, if we're going to get an alien element to come into it, especially in season, I guess 3 and then 4, then I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to that because the drama, like the dynamic of the story that's going on with just the humans in the different places from the Mars colony, the Belters, and what's going on with Earth and the conflict between all of them, man, it's good. The Expanse is real good. You know what? I thought the CG in Bloodshot was pretty good, Jinhan. I mean, to me, that was the best thing about the movie. It didn't seem dodgy to me. I don't know, man. In between the action scenes, the story felt flat, and it felt like it shouldn't have been that way. It felt like it was full of action. It felt like the pacing was good. I don't know what it was. I couldn't stay awake. I fell asleep twice. One of the times when I was asleep, the guy came to give me my check because I went to the iPic theater and he came to give me my check and he caught me dozing. Yeah, so I don't know. I never heard about that one. General Darwin's Game, is that on Netflix? I know there's a lot of anime on Netflix. Speaking of anime, I really need them to do the voiceover for the latest season of One Punch Man because I can't find it. And on Netflix, they only have season 1. They used to have all the seasons on Hulu. I need to double check that, but I need the voiceover for One Punch Man. It's one of the reasons why I haven't been able to finish Handsome Siblings because I can't get through the the narrative, not the narrative, but the voice or the subtext, not subtext, whatever they call it. You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, I thought Venom was a so-so film too, and people loved Venom. I could not see what the hype was. Now, if you want to talk about dodgy CGI, Venom had dodgy CGI. To me, Venom has some of the worst CGI I've seen in movies in a long, long time. And I don't know if they did motion capture for Venom or if it was just straight CGI, but it was awful, man. It was terrible to me, and that's really why I'm not looking forward to the next Venom movie. I know a lot of people are super excited about it, but if it's like the first one, I'm gonna need a better story and better execution on the performances part for that because I didn't like it. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't that bad to me, Jahan. Javon, what's going on, man? I'm curious to know too. Also, are you guys excited for the second season of The Boys? They've introduced a new hero into the mix. She's a female who was originally a male in the books. I can't remember what her name is. What's her name? But she's supposed to be as powerful, or virtually as powerful as Homelander. Man, what's her name? Let's pull her up again. The Boys new. Hey, what's going on, Daniel? I haven't seen the Protector this season, Javon, but I do like the Protector. But you making that comment is not making me excited. Um, man, what is the name of that? The girl, the boys. Let me see. The boys' new villain. Forgot her name. She's Somebody will pull it up before I find it. I'm looking for it now. So, what is her name? What's her name? Um, she's like a Nazi or something like that. Stormfront. That's her name. Stormfront. So I want to see what they do with her character. I kind of hope that they veer off from the story of the comic books with the boys because we kind of know what's coming. I hope they do something a little bit different. I hope they take a lot of license with how they roll that story out for season 2 and we don't get what we expect. Because if we get what we expect, we already know what's going to happen to a lot of folks. And they might do that because in season 1 of the boys, it was different than how the boys started in the comics, and I hope they take a whole bunch of license with the story building, so we don't know what's coming. That's her name, Stormfront. So, now I wasn't looking for the actress's name. I just couldn't remember the name of the character, Stormfront. So I'm looking forward to that character as well because from what I understand, that character ends with Homelander a lot, and she's not quite on the level of Homelander, but she doesn't take a whole bunch of the crap that the other people take from Homelander because they're terrified of him. And who wouldn't be? He's nuts. That man is crazy. But she sticks up to him a lot more, and I heard she's close to him in power and ability, which is an interesting thing, right? Because if we know what we know from the comic books, we also know that that Black Noir is very close to him in power and ability as well. I mean, I guess this is not a spoiler. You guys probably know from the comics anyway that Black Noir was made to take out Homelander in case he went overboard, in case he really flew the cuckoo's nest. So now with the introduction of Stormfront, it'll be interesting to see what they do with Black Noir as well. So I'm looking forward to the second season of The Boys. That's probably going to be crazy because the first season was I remember the first time I saw The Boys and dude was standing there holding his girlfriend's hand on the curb and I'm like, this is crazy. A-Train runs right through. I was like, yo, this is nuts. That's a good thing, Jinhan. I hope they veer off a lot. I hope they give us. I don't know. I just don't want things to be predictable. I mean, if I can read a comic book and know exactly what's going to happen, then there's really no need for me to watch it. Especially with a show like The Boys and how offbeat it is from normal comics. The less you know, the better. So I really hope they take a whole bunch of license with The Boys. You know what other show I'm looking forward to as well, and it's a shame Cobra's not on because he would clown me about it, but I don't care, man. I like this show, and it was on Amazon Prime, which was Carnival Row. Carnival Row was good, and if you haven't seen Carnival Row, you should check it out. That show was good, man. I'm looking forward to a season 2 for that, and I haven't heard anything about it coming, but I hope that it is because Carnival Row, that was a good show, man. I also like Cara Devine, so not the best actress, but I like her in some things. So I don't know. We will see. Hopefully that comes back. And I heard rumor that what's the name of the show with Katie Sackcloth that was terrible on Netflix? It's a sci-fi, and I think it's getting a season 2. For the life of me, I don't know how it's getting a season 2, but I've heard that the season 2 is going to be better. What's the name of that show? Man, somebody tell me in the comments. What's the name of that show on Netflix with Katie Sackcloth? They're going to some planet because of some artifact that landed on Earth. It is probably one of the worst acted, and everything was just bad about it. Just cinematically, it was bad. The CGI was bad. Oh man, I can't remember the name of it. Afterlife, after something. Anyway, that's supposed to be getting a season 2 on Netflix. Key House is also really good on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Just throwing out some stuff that you guys can watch now because if your area is like mine, at 5 o'clock the movie's shut down. So, Oh, I did. Okay, okay, okay. I didn't know that. Huh. So, Key House is sorry, you guys. I'm commenting like you know what I'm reading, but I was reading Golan's comment about Carnival Row. So Key House is pretty good on Netflix. Key House for some reason reminds me a little bit of Stranger Things. I don't know why it does, but it does. But I'm looking forward to season two for that. I thought that was pretty good. I'm actually looking forward to season two of um, of Raising Dion. Not because I thought season one was good, because it wasn't. But people talked me into watching season two. It's supposed to get a lot better. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Oh no, MB, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Y'all see that? MB said they canceled Carnival Row. Man, that's the thing, man. Like you can't you get into a show and they cancel it. What's wrong with them, Darksiders? You canceled ITB. You canceled Warrior. What's going on? Jeez. Hey, MB, how you doing? Oh, you weren't even talking to me. You were talking to Chris. Man, I'm sad about that, MB. I'm sad. You hurt me with that one. Well, Carnival Row's gone. I don't even know what to say. Don't even know what to say. Have you guys heard that Netflix is thinking about doing stuff that's more episodic and not doing? I don't know if this is completely true or not, but from what I heard, Netflix is thinking about doing stuff that's more episodic and not doing and veering a little bit from its binge format. Read one article that said that they're only testing some shows like that. I think they were looking at some of the other models like Disney Plus and things like that. Then I read another article that said no, they're only doing that with a few shows, but they're not going to mess with their binging format. So I think if Netflix was smart, they would shows like The Witcher. They would not have those seasons in bingeable seasons. They would make you come back week by week. That's what I think. And I think if anything has proven a success of that, you can look at shows like Game of Thrones, or you can look at shows like The Mandalorian and see how successful that is. So, okay, okay. All right, now I feel better. Now I feel better, Jinhan. All right, I'm cool now. I'm cool. Man, I had not heard that. Is that true, Javon? Javon said that he heard a rumor that Apple was thinking about buying Disney. No, no, that can't be true because the stocks. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You know what? I haven't caught Westworld, but I've seen the commercials for Westworld, Chris. So I need to get on that as well. But I have a question about Westworld because I haven't been watching it. Westworld is a seasonal show, right? So do I have to watch all of the seasons to be up with the current seasons? Because doesn't the show change each season? I know the premise is the same in terms of the structure of Westworld, but isn't each season a different or a separate season? One doesn't build on the other, right? So I can jump into the new Westworld season and be good. That's what I'm hoping because from the trailers of what I've seen, it looks really good. So that's something that I'm interested in seeing too. Okay, wait. So I'm confused. If Westworld doesn't change, then I guess my question is: do I have to go back and watch the previous seasons of Westworld to know what's going on, or can I jump into this new season? Because I thought that Westworld, like the settings were different. Isn't the premise that you can immerse yourself in this world where things are not real, but it can almost be any world of your choosing? And at one point, there was like a Western version of Westworld. I think that's the one that Sherman Augustus was in, and now this one's like a modern day version of Westworld. Is that not like the premise of Westworld? Am I wrong about that? All right, DeMille, thanks for stopping by, guys. Please make sure again you check out his channel, Downtime with DeMille, same type of channel that I have, man. I appreciate you stopping by, my friend. I haven't seen the last episode of Picard. Honestly, Daniel, man, I got to catch up because Picard was sleeping me. It just wasn't moving at a fast enough pace for me, and I fell behind, and I haven't really been in any big rush to catch up. Last when I jumped off, he was still building his crew. He had just recruited the I think the Romulan kid, and then I stopped. So I need to jump back on it then apparently. I gotta check that out. So, General, is Darwin's Game on Netflix? Let me write that down. Darwin's Game. I'm a big fan of Picard too. And I think Picard is the best captain in the Star Trek universe by far. A lot of people disagree with me because a lot of people like Benjamin Sisko, but I don't think anybody touches Picard. So, all right, General, I'm writing that down. Darwin's Game. All right, Chris. Well, then I gotta check it out. I mean, I should be able, like I said, I should be able to keep up because we're off for the next 2 weeks. I mean, I do have to do some teleworking, and I think that's going to be extended. I think when it comes close to time to go back to school for schools to start again, I think they're going to extend the downtime because of the virus. But we'll see. But I have time to check it out so I can get caught up. Oh, that's interesting. Javon, I wouldn't mind seeing that a Devil May Cry animation. That sounds pretty good. Shatner? Your favorite captain was Shatner? That's interesting. Probably Shatner's probably my least favorite captain. The original series is probably my least favorite series. TOS is probably my least favorite Star Trek series. To me, there's no comparison to TGN, Star Trek TGN. Number one, because it was exploratory. I said this before, and people thought I was nuts. One of the things with Star Trek, I need you to explore. So I like the fact that Star Trek TGN was episodic because we got a new episode with almost each show, and they were always exploring, right? That's what you're doing. Star Trek, you're on a track. You're supposed to be exploring. So the shows that didn't have a lot of that in it, or like to me, Deep Space Nine didn't have a lot of exploration in it. People said I was crazy because it's not like everything takes place on the station, but the hub of the show is the station. I need to see the ships going to and fro throughout the galaxy, meeting folks, and folks going places where no man has gone before. That's why I like TGN. And plus, I thought the characters, like TGN, the characters in there were the best to me. So that's my favorite Star Trek by far. I don't know what you said, Jinhan. You got a slap on the wrist for it. What'd you say? You didn't say anything. I don't know. I don't know why the Streamlabs filter picked that up. Everybody loves Deep Space Nine. You didn't find Deep Space Nine a little bit flat? I think the characters on the station were interesting, like Odo, but they Deep Space Nine was always a little bit flat. But I will tell you, and I've said this before, one of my problems with Deep Space Nine is Avery Brooks, who ironically enough was a stage actor. I think either before he got in film or he did a whole bunch of stage while he was doing film and television. I remember him from way back when, from A Man Called Hawk and Spencer for Hire. But he always seems like, even when he's in front of the camera, he always seems like he's performing on stage. Everything is a little bit too dramatic for me. And no matter what he does, he always seems that way. Always. And that's one of my problems with Deep Space Nine. That's one of my problems with him as a captain. I just feel like I don't like his acting or his performance that much in Deep Space Nine. Maybe that's I don't know what that was, Chris. I don't know why they did that to Jin Han, because I didn't see anything. Maybe I don't know what it was. Yeah, I like Babylon 5 too. Big fan of Babylon 5. You know what I'd like to see them bring back, even though I can't see it being as good as the original, is Buck Rogers. Buck Rogers was I was a kid when Buck Rogers came on, but man, did I love Buck Rogers, boy. I love Buck Rogers. I'd like to see them bring that back. So you all right? Well, MD, I guess you think you think I'm. Yeah, it just seemed flat to me. It just seems. Well, no. Well, Cisco didn't seem flat. He almost seemed over animated to me, but the show seemed flat, and everything was on the station. Like, too much of it was on the station. I don't know. Just was not a fan. Yeah, I know. I know. The Witcher season 2 is on pause, so we have to wait for that. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you, like I've been saying before, if you haven't read the books, it gives you time to catch up, because you will have a deeper enjoyment of that show if you have read the Witcher books. You really will, and you won't be as confused if they do things like jump from time to time and things like that. If you've read the books, you won't be as confused. Some of it could still be a little bit confusing, but I'm telling you, read the books. You got time now. Audible. They're all on Audible. Really, Daniel? Wow. A lot of people like DS9, man. If you go back and you look at the video I did, it was years ago, about ranking the Star Trek captains. Oh no, it wasn't that one. I'm sorry, it was ranking the Star Trek shows, and half of those comments, if not more than half, are people ripping me a new one because they all love Deep Space Nine. Everybody loves Deep Space Nine. Everybody loves Cisco, man. He's a fan favorite. Yeah, New Mutants is they can't catch a break. I mean, from rewrites to a whole bunch of stuff going on with that movie, and then it's going to be delayed. Even though I'm a little suspect about New Mutants, I'm actually a little suspect about New Mutants, which is a shame because I'm not really feeling the performance of Anya Taylor Joy, and I love that girl. I love her in so many things, but oh man, from the trailers of New Mutants and that accent, nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't understand the question, Daniel. Can you stream on March 20? What is March 22nd? Not a what date is that? Is that not a Monday? What date is the 22nd? Oh, that's on a Sunday. That's next Sunday. No, that's not next. Yeah, that's next. Is that next Sunday? That's next Sunday. I don't know. We have to see about that. I need to actually check with the missus about that. I feel like there's something going on that Sunday. I don't know, Daniel, but there's nothing going on. I don't mind. I don't mind streaming it. I mean, I can't. I can't change the night until But I don't mind doing it. We would just do two. We would stream on Sunday and then we would stream on Monday. I have to let you know though, buddy. Actually, that episode wasn't bad. when of Deep Space Nine, that wasn't bad at all. Oh, did the general take off? You know what? I liked actually Voyager too because I like Janeway also. Voyager was good, and Voyager was very exploratory. That's one of the things I liked about Voyager: the fact that they were really lost, and came up against a whole bunch of scenarios on their way home. I also like the idea of the caretaker in the Voyager in Voyager 2. So I like Voyager as well. I actually heard that Emma was pretty good too. I'll see anything with Anya Taylor Joy in it. I mean, I've liked her in everything from seeing her in what's that horror she was in, The Witch or something like that. Um, and then the stuff that she did with Shyamalan as well. So I like Anya Taylor Joy. I'm a fan of Glass and the movie before that. My mind is just gone, man. I need to get a CAT scan. Okay. Yeah, we're good, Javon. We're all stocked up on everything. My wife went shopping. I ran out today and got some stuff, gassed the cars up. Because everybody knows that right now it's coronavirus, but it's going to morph and it'll be a zombie apocalypse. So we're all ready to go here. All ready to go to ride it out. That could be Jinhan. I mean, a lot of movies I think are going to take a big hit. And the thing about it is, like, I mean, you just don't know how long this whole thing is going to last. You really don't because, like they're saying, it's new. And I think next month was going to be would be well, it's part of this month too. Was a big would be a big month for movies, but I think it's going to take a hit. A Quiet Place is going to take a hit. Um, it'll be interesting to see how those movies do because they're not going to roll out when they were supposed to. But I have a feeling actually that when they do hit theaters, I think that the turnout will probably be big because most people are going to be cooped up in the house, and I think that most theaters, if they have not been shut down, they're going to shut them down completely. I know here, like I said, all theaters had to close by 5, but eventually they're gonna close all the theaters down. All the optional stuff like that, I think is gonna go. But I think when people can get out to see them, I think it's gonna be a flock to see a lot of the movies that we have on hold. So it could end up being okay for them. They're just not gonna make their projected earnings when they thought they would, and I don't know what impact that has on their bottom line, but you would say they need to start their marketing campaign all over? Yeah, they might. Yeah, they might. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's such a strange state that we're in. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Mulan probably would be the biggest loser, which is a shame because I really like the cast from Mulan, and I really wanted to see how they brought that movie to live action because I thought the cast was looking good. It looked like it was beautifully shot, so Mulan probably will be the biggest loser. I agree with that. I hadn't heard that about Black Widow. Them saying that they might just put it on Disney Plus. I don't know how I feel about that, man, because I kind of want to see that movie in the theater. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm still salty that she's gone. Honestly, It's close to that here too, Chris. But I think that if I remember correctly, some of those things are open here. They just close early. So I think that they just close at 5 o'clock, which when you think about it, really doesn't seem to make a whole bunch of sense because you could have a gathering of 50 people or more. And I'm sure you heard what the president said. You know, his recommendation is that you don't have groups of 10 or more, which is nothing. So, I mean, people are really buckling down on trying to get a handle on this thing, and they're still saying that we haven't really seen the worst of it. We're still on the uptick swing, so they're still saying we're probably going to see a lot more cases than we have so far. So yeah, it's a crazy thing. Like I said, man, I need to go check on my parents because neither one of them are in the best of health. So I need to go over there and make sure that they're okay. My brother and I have been stopping by and checking on them. So I'm gonna do that later on tonight. But yeah, it's something to take seriously. Hey Chris, is your wife? I'm assuming she's not working now, right? Because your wife works in she's a school teacher, I think. I think that's what I remember you saying. Do I support the government giving everybody $1,000 in cash? I don't think that's a bad idea. I think anything that will help with incomes, I think will be helpful. I think that along with some of the other things that they would do, I think that might help. It just hopefully people would spend it on on the right things. But I think it would help. Okay. Oh wow, yeah, she's out. She's out longer than I'm out, Chris. Yeah, I think anything the government can do to give struggling families some help is helpful. I mean, we're not really in that state yet, but and from what I understand, we'll see. We will still get compensated even if we're out for a while. We have a super strong union. Though the teachers union here is really strong. Plus, my wife is working. My wife has to work. She's essential personnel. She's a nurse, so you know that's that. All right, guys, it was fun. I'm going to take off so I can get to my folks' house before it gets too late. Apologies for getting this out to you, for getting what we were going to talk out about so late. I definitely want to try and get it out to you guys no later than Wednesday, so you know what's going on before. What I want to do is this. Let's try this for the next stream. Make sure that you're keeping up with the community tab because I actually want to get some subjects. So if we like take 5 subjects that just come from you guys that we can cover for next week's talk. I know that we talked about altered carbon, but most of us are done with that. That was the number one show really that came forward after we did the poll. Um, so keep your community tab. So be on the lookout for that. Also got YouTube stories. Super excited about that. So be on the lookout for that so that we can pick like the top 5 topics that we want to talk about next week, and then I'll look at those and we'll see what they are, and I'll get those out to you guys by today's Monday. So let's say Thursday. I'll get those out to you guys by Thursday. That way you'll know what they are. I'm gonna catch up on the Expanse. Also, shameless plug. Make sure you check out the swag store. I did put some T-shirts in there that should be coming soon. There's an Into the Badlands T-shirt in there that you might like too. That is not a ripoff of anything else. So check that out as well. And then there's a big sale on it. It's 40% off of everything on the store. So you'll see it linked in the videos. All right, thanks everybody. It was fun as always. Stay safe, please, and do not go out if you don't have to. I know people are saying that this only affects older folks. I don't know how many of us I don't think a lot of us in our community really fit that bill, but there might be some. but it's affecting everybody, not just older folks as well. So man, guys, please make sure that you take care of yourself and limit your outgoings and be conscious of your distance and washing your hands and all that kind of good stuff. You guys stay safe. All right. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. And with that, I will see you on the next video, and I will see you guys on the next live stream. Peace.